Oh my God!
He didn't go to Norfolk State.
Owe me $5.
He didn't go to Norfolk State. He went to Morgan State, but it's all HBCU love. All right. He also attended New York University. We'll talk more about that, ladies and gentlemen. None other than film director David Talbot. How you doing, sir?
Oh man, what's up, man? Good to be here.
Awesome, man. So, what brings you here in Virginia?
We're doing a writing workshop, and we're really talking about how to create, film schools at HBCUs. And so I didn't study film at Morgan, but of course I'm in it. And so there's so many amazing stories and storytellers, in front of the camera, behind the camera at our Black colleges. So I just want to we're working on the ways where we can create something that will get them several steps ahead when it's time for them to, kind of get into the entertainment world out in California or New York.
Okay. So you said you didn't study film in school. What did you study?
Marketing.
Okay. So for all the college students out there, anybody aspiring to be in school, a lot of times people, argue the point of, well, I'm going to school for this, but I really want to do this. Like, how did you make the two worlds come together? Or did you just say, you know what, this marketing degree means this to me in this aspect, but I really love this? How did you make that work?
Well, I chose marketing because it seemed to be the easiest thing to get a degree in. Okay. Where I didn't have to apply myself as much. So that's why I chose that. I mean, in all transparency.
Okay.
But I overheard someone say that they were on the radio station at Morgan, and I didn't even know we had a radio station there. But it turns out we had the #1 jazz station there in Baltimore, WEAA. Wow. So I'm like, I'm gonna get on the radio, and so I went there, and they gave me a slot. And it ended up blowing up and ended up being a talk show host there for a year. And then I got a job at the local radio station. And then so that became my career. So I was doing that like all day, overnights, everything while I was still going to Morgan. I may have graduated with the lowest GPA in the history.
Oh man, come on!
In the history of Black colleges,
but you know what? But obviously, it helped. It helped boost, where you're at now.
Well, practical experience is always the best.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm not. You got to get your school. You can't be stuck on stupid. So you got to know that stuff. But you also have to spend as much time outside of the classroom, actively putting a practical application into what it is you want to do as you are in the class, because in the classroom, it's not fully multidimensional. It's just one dimension of it. It's theory,
yes.
So you got to put that theory to practice, which is actually doing it outside. So by the time I graduated Morgan, I squeaked out of there. You have to have a 2.0 average.
That's right.
I had a 1.99 average, and they just blew on my GPA and blew it up to 2. So, thank God. But anyway, as soon as I graduated, I had a job waiting for me in San Francisco.
Wow.
As a radio announcer. So I mean, but it was because I was maybe some would say I wasn't learning class, but while I was going to class, at least showing up, I was learning outside the classroom, and it helped get me several steps ahead of the game.
So from radio to film, how did that happen?
Well, it was radio to plays, because when I was out there, I of course followed none of the rules and got fired.
Oh goodness,
that's hard to. That's not surprising to you, is it?
It is.
Okay.
You have a good resume.
Yeah,
there.
But I never followed any of the rules. I never read any of the liner cards. I would always write new lines because I thought it was corny what they were writing, and they would always hotline me and say, "Just read the damn lines." And so they let me go, and someone gave me tickets to a play. And I went to see the play, and it was at the Paramount Theater in Oakland. And I remember just people were laughing. It was 2,200 people, and they were laughing on top of each other. And I was looking at the stage, and I said, this is terrible, this play. I mean, but they're just laughing. And I said, if folks are laughing at that, I know I can do something better. So I went home that night and started writing. That's when I started writing my first play. and we ended up taking it across the country. I'm not sure it was much better than the play that I saw, but at least it was mine. But that started my career, and
How long after college was that?
that was a year and a half.
Wow, very soon.
Yeah. I was touring with my first play at 25.
Oh wow.
At 25, we were selling out all across the country in the biggest venues, 3,000, 4,000 seat venues. And then, and so I did about 12 of those, 12 plays at tour. Everybody's mama know who I am. Everybody's mama. Oh, I love him. I love seeing his plays. Telling like it is. Lord have mercy. What goes around comes around. He say, she say, but what does God say? Mr. Right Now, The Fabric of a Man, What My Husband Doesn't Know, Love in the Nick of Time, Love on Layaway, Love Makes Things Happen. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing some, but
legendary.
But all of those, and then the stars that were in there, from Kirk Franklin to Malik Yoba to Shamar Moore, Morris Chestnut, Babyface, Coco. I mean, it's Tiffany Haddish. Michelle Williams.
You had a novel with Snoop Dogg?
Huh?
You had a novel
with
Snoop
novel,
Dogg?
Yes. Novel. Snoop and I co-wrote a novel called Love Don't Live Anymore, based on how he got started. Now, when I say co-wrote, Snoop was there. I don't know he was quite coherent. Because there was a jelly jar or something that made him incoherent. So all the time. But no,
he was present.
Snoop is my dude, and just a beautiful, beautiful soul, and that's like my brother. And so we did that, and novels, and then I wrote a novel, Baggage Claim, that I made that into a movie.
Yes.
So it really went from theater to film.
Baggage Claim, they had what? Trey Songz,
Paula Patton, Derek Luke, Boris Kojo, Jill Scott, Tia Mowry. Had a bunch of folks in there, but it was Paula, Adam Brody. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Afion.
Yeah, Afion.
Phenomenal, man. We have David Talbert here, filmmaker, Morgan State graduate. It's MCJR week. We're going to talk more with him. Do not go anywhere. We're Hot 91, the Soul of VA. We are Hot 91 and Solar VA. Jessica Jolia right there. Ooh la la. That's a local artist. Listen, man, it's a beautiful time right here on the campus of Norfolk State University. MCJR Week, Mass Communications Journalism Week, and we have a very special guest in the building. You were just speaking to some students.
Yes.
David Talbert, filmmaker, playwriter. Like his resume is extensive. I'm talking about Baggage Claim. We're talking about Jingle Jangle. We're talking about, name some of the movies.
First Sunday.
Super funny. Cat Williams, right?
Yeah.
What was it like working with Cat Williams, man?
Oh, he said, Mr. Talbot, I hope you appreciate my brand of comedy. I hope it's enhancing your film. I said, Cat, everything you're saying out of your mouth is funny. I'm glad that you appreciate the heightened level of comedy that I have brought to your production, Mr. Talbot. This was every day.
Every day.
This was every day with Cat.
So what is it like seeing him now? I'm sure you see him on the videos and stuff online. Like, what are your thoughts on some of,
that's Cat. I mean, that's Cat. I mean, he's one of the smartest dudes out there. I mean, he's just not saying things just to be saying them. I mean, he's selling tickets. He is making, he broke the internet with that.
Yes.
You're talking about we're still talking about
We're still talking about it. I mean, but it was entertainment. The issue is when people take everything that he said as facts. Because it wasn't. But it was still funny and entertaining. So Cat's one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, for sure he is. Ice Cube was in that movie too.
Cube and Tracy Morgan and my boy Ricky Smiley, that and then Almost Christmas with Danny Glover and Monique. Both of those Club Shay Shays. I had two actors back to back that were on there because Cat and then Monique came on there.
She's gonna speak her mind every time. Monique is from Baltimore, right?
Monique's husband and I lived across the hall in the dorm.
Really?
Yeah.
What's
so
the
I've been knowing him since 85.
Wow.
He went there on a basketball scholarship. I went there on a basketball scholarship, and so yes, I've been knowing Monique forever. So I called her to be in that film. I'm like, sis, what you doing for a couple months? She says, what you talking about, Mr. Talbot? That's what she called me. She said, nah, Mr. Talbot, I'm not coming out here being no fool. She said, nah. And so Monique has been a sister and is one of the best to ever do it. She can go any direction from
Why
drama.
does she not get her props?
I don't know if she doesn't. She won an Oscar. Those are props.
That's right. Why do people make it seem like she is just, upset, or why do they try to make it seem like, she's always trying to stir things up?
I don't know.
And I don't feel like
I don't know if she's trying to stir things up, but then she speaks her mind. And that is her truth. And truth is a slippery slope sometimes.
It is.
But absolutely, she's one of the absolute best to ever do it. And that film, Almost Christmas, you take Monique out of that film. Monique set that thing on fire. And I remember the New York Times did an article on her after the film, and they said if there was an Oscar given for a comedic performance, she should win it for that film. Because she is a beast at what she does.
Yes, she is. It's MCJR Week, and we have a filmmaker, director, Mr. David E. Talbert here, and we have some of our students here in the Mass Communications Journalism Department. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. It is Alex, aka the Lovely Lex, tapping in with y'all.
And let's go ahead and ask a few questions to David Talbert.
Of course. So, with being a director, the whole brainstorm process, I know sometimes it can be hectic, but what does that process look like when you're trying to create a story? How does it work for you?
I just start off first with something that moves me, and I build a story around there.
Right.
For First Sunday, I was sitting outside. Went to church one morning in LA, and I was at a coffee store right outside of it. And I was seeing the next group coming in. It was one of those mega churches, so the next group coming into service. And I remember watching two kind of, street cats walking past, and I saw a couple of church folks, turn up their nose to them.
Right.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, And that's where I got the idea for First Sunday. And the idea is that all people that do good aren't necessarily good people, and all people that maybe do bad things aren't necessarily bad people.
Right.
And so that was the spirit of what that movie was, that all they needed was a change. All a person would need is just a change in direction. And that was the whole reason why. So that whole idea just came out of sitting here right after service and seeing something. And I'm like, that ain't right.
Right.
And then I just started building a story.
So would you say that, because I know First Sunday, I grew up watching First Sunday. I have it on DVD at my house, grew up in the church. Would you say that your films are created to connect to a specific audience, or is it just to pretty much get the story across, like you said with First Sunday, all people aren't bad people?
Well, I think any artist, they only can bring who they are to the table. I grew up in a holiness church.
Right.
And so I mean, the reason why First Sunday resonated so well to people that grew up in the church is because it had all the DNA of the church in there, because from the thermometer on the side, when you're raising money for the building fund, and they keep raising money, the thermometer, but every, all the stuff that we just do in Black church.
Choir rehearsal.
Absolutely. That's ridiculous. And so, but that's all an artist can do, is bring themselves to their art. And that's what makes it authentic. And that's what makes it feel authentic to other people.
Right. So have you ever endured a period where you had to work with a limited budget, but still tried to incorporate all the creative ideas that you had in your project?
Most of my career was a limited budget. I mean, some of my plays I did early, I mean, them sets were held together by duct tape and prayer. Wow. I mean, you could huff and puff and blow them sets down. But at the end of the day, like in the circuit, we were selling emotions and feelings, and not all the time aesthetics, but they connected emotionally. And so with my films, I mean, all of them had limited budgets. Jingle Jangle had that was the budget of all budgets, because we're a period piece. We built a world. It was costumes and hair, and it was choreography and visual effects. I mean, the visual effects budget for that film was bigger than the budgets for any of my films, just the visual effects in that film. Wow. So, but we have a history as Black people of making a lot with a little.
That's right.
And so we carry that legacy into our art, but if you give us a little, we're going to make a lot. But if you give us a lot, we're going to make that work too.
Right.
That's right.
So, so I'm thankful to work in any budget. At the end of the day, does it connect with people? Does it connect with me first?
Right.
Then can I make sure it connects with people? And that's always my intention.
Right. So speaking with your connections, once you realize that you had that personal connection with the film, how do you deal with...
Damn, Oprah. I mean, I thought we was doing a feel-good kind of students here. You're a journalist, huh?
I'm trying.
Well, let me tell you something. You ain't let me off the hook. I thought we was going to a song. Can we go to Jodeci? Okay, no, let's go. Let's go. Let me turn to you.
Forever my lady. I got you.
Yeah, absolutely. Come and talk to me. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
So with that connection, with you building that connection with your projects first, how do you deal with, your cast and your crew? Are there ever any disagreements when bringing all
every
of these?
Day there's a disagreement.
So how do you deal with it?
Oh, well, you have to, as a director of a film, people think I'm on there saying what kind of lenses I use and dolly shots and camera angles. That ain't my job. My job on set of director as a director on a set of a film is as a CEO of a company. It's to manage
Yeah.
all these people, all these departments, and make sure everybody's having a good time. And it's really service. Like even though you may look at me as the top of the food chain as director, well, that means that I'm the top servant. My job is to serve when I come to set every day.
Right.
And to make sure everybody has what they need, everybody's in a good space, because if I serve the people, then they will serve my art. And that's how it works. So, but it's always, I mean, you got to get people to come out to trailers. I mean, this is just, it's really, you're a den dad, you're a therapist, you're a big brother, you know, you're all of that, because you're dealing with art and you're dealing with artists. So it's not an exact science. And so an artist can only pull from who they are and what they are, and some things may be going on in their lives and all that stuff that affects their art. So you have to manage that, you know, and
like a balance.
Absolutely. And then if you happen to be able to talk about a camera angle or something, then that's good. But that's really not your job, you know, when you're directing a film.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have David E. Talbert, filmmaker, director, playwright, all that, Morgan State graduate, most of all. You know, a lot of times we got to throw that in there because they think that, you know, Black folks who are not educated. He has a degree too. And he also attended New York University on a film program. We're going to talk more with him right after this. And we also have another student in the mass communication journalism department. We're going to let her get some questions in next. All right.
Thank you.
And that's it.
I'm going to take me a nap
Y'all
after these
stay tuned
questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really trying to. I literally just started working here at the radio station this semester. I host 2 TV shows through the university.
We are Hot 91, the Solar VAKC and JoJo. You bring me up. Now, when's the last time you heard that one right there, man? And speaking of that song, we actually have the director of the video to that song, Mr. David E. Talbert. He just threw that one on us. He was like, yo, by the way, I directed this video and that video and that video. Real modest guy, man. What was it like? We just spoke about it off air, but what was it like directing the music video for KC and JoJo?
Oh, they were, I mean, we you know, first, I'm huge fans of them, of course, from Jodeci. I mean, everybody knows it. And they're church boys. You know, they're church boys right out of Baltimore. Mm-hmm. So I knew of them and the Haley family. And, you know, so we were there. We were shooting it for 2 days. And first day was supposed to start at 6. And I think they showed up around 11:30 at night. And JoJo showed up with a python, an actual python around his neck.
Was it in the video?
No.
You told him no?
No. No, well, I don't know if he had planned for it to be in the video. It wasn't in the script for the video, but he showed up there and then KC, and they were just, you know, young kids at the top of their game doing their thing. And I was just fortunate they asked me to do that.
And you said you also directed Kirk Franklin's Melodies from Heaven video.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
And he just, ladies and gentlemen, got to let you know, very, very nice guy. He just called Kirk Franklin personally and allowed us to speak with him. And Kirk Franklin is going to be here on campus next week. We'll talk about that later. But what was it like working with Kirk Franklin?
Oh, man.
Melodies.
Oh, man. Kirk had just come out with his first one, The Reason Why We Sing record, which broke the, you know, I mean, it just was #1 forever. And then I put him in my play, He Say, She Say, But What Does God Say? So while we were out there on the road, that's where David Mann first started acting. That's his first job acting. In Tam, because they were in the family.
With you?
Yes, that's how he started. Wow. Yeah, so because they were in the family, it's Kirk Franklin family. That's how Tamala Mann first started acting. And David Mann, we were rehearsing, and David was just supposed to be background singer. And he says, man, you think you got a couple lines or something I could say? I'm like, you think you can act? He says, man, my wife say I'm a fool. And so I put David in one of the lead roles in the play, and that's how he started acting, and that's how Tam started acting. And so we were out in Philadelphia with the play, and so the album was about to come out. Kirk's second album was about to come out, and Melodies was the first single on it. And so we shot the video in Philadelphia, and that was the second video. No, that was the first video I directed. Then later on, Casey and JoJo.
That's phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, it's MCJR week right here on the campus of Norfolk State University, Mass Communications and Journalism. You just heard from one of our students in the Mass Comm department. Now we have another one. She's writing for the Spartan Echo. Her name is Destiny.
Hey, y'all. My name is Destiny, and I'm the editor-in-chief of the Spartan Echo newspaper here at Norfolk State.
All right.
So what do you talk about in the Spartan Echo newspaper?
We do pretty much everything that we try to get it out, you know, before the big papers like Virginia Pilot and all those ones. We do a lot of local stories, a lot about what's going on campus. When people come to campus, like Mr. David Talbert, and I recently did an interview on Sophia Nelson, so author and political journalist.
So while you're on your way up to the top in mass comm journalism, what are some questions that you have for Mr. David Talbert?
Going back to the beginning when you were talking about how you graduated from Morgan State, I'm wondering how important do you think it is for Black individuals to go to HBCU?
Oh, it was everything for me. I mean, I wrote my first play while just kind of playing around while I was there at campus, and I took it to the professor, Clinton Holmes, who he was over at Theater Arts, and I asked him could he read it, and he said sure. And he called me in there a week later and said, "Young man, I think you got something here." He said, "You ought to stick with this." He said, "You're talented." Now, I don't know whether he thought I was talented or not, but what he knew was the importance of planting a seed. And then if he planted a seed, then it was my job to water it. And so just the fact of him, if I would have given him that script and he would have said, have you ever thought about a career in construction. Because if you haven't, son, I think you should. Then I wouldn't be sitting here right now, possibly. So, I mean, that's what happens at campuses of HBCUs. You have a community of people that want to see you do well, that want to see you win, that believe that you can. And that's half the battle of just someone believing in you, until you start believing in yourself.
Do you believe that you got more opportunities at the HBCU than you would if you had decided to go to a PWI?
Probably, because again, I got on the radio and I walked in, and a week after wanting to be on the radio, I was on the radio. I mean, I don't know how it worked at the other universities, but I know how it worked at Morgan. And I know that they gave me an opportunity that I would not have. I don't believe, maybe I would have, but I don't know. But I'm thankful to have gone to a Black college that gave me the opportunity. And here I am now. That's why I come back as often as I can, because, it's where I started.
Mr. Talbert, thank you so much for coming back and speaking with the students. You stayed well over the time that you said you were going to stay.
Man.
We've held you hostage, but we need that wealth of knowledge, man, because we're just trying to make sure that we get our students to where they need to be. Along with me, I'm learning from you. It's phenomenal. Like, you called Kurt Franklin, and you gave us all the backstories of everything, and I'm sure it's a lot more. Ladies and gentlemen, he told us that he started Tamala Mann's and David Mann's career. He started with you. That's phenomenal. A lot of people don't get an opportunity to see people from the very beginning on up to where they are now, and for you to be there with them is.
Man, everybody was in my plays. Man, you'd be surprised. I mean, Terry J. Vaughn, she started my first play. Kalita Smith, they were in my first play. Tiffany Haddish was in What My Husband
Super
Doesn't
funny.
Know. Yvette Nicole Brown was in His Woman, His Wife, as she first started acting. I mean, it's just it was an opportunity for people that were already talented. I didn't make any of these people who they are. I just gave them a platform to do what they do and chase a career. But that's what the plays did. And now that's what the movies were able to do. Like the young lady who played Journey in Jingle Jangle, brilliant young lady out of Atlanta, and just give an opportunity to, people. That's what it's really all about.
So what's the next project you have coming up?
Oh man, I got a ton of them, man. I got a lot of them I can't really speak about, but I got a ton of things, projects at Disney and Universal and Netflix and some other places. But it's just a beautiful time of doing our art and having fun projects with Tabitha Brown, and it's just a lot of things. But really, the most important thing really is to come here and hopefully show that a path to people pursuing the dreams that they want in the entertainment business, and so that's what I'm really here to do. Hopefully people can see me and say, okay, if this sucker did it with a 1.999 GPA, then damn it, I ought to at least have a shot. I got a 2.1 GPA. I'm smarter than he is. So here you go.
There we go. David Talbert, thank you so much. Film, playwright, director, extraordinaire, all the above. Once again, thank you from WNSB, Norfolk State University. We truly appreciate you being here for MCJR Week.
Oh, brother, it's been a pleasure, man. Anything I can do to help connect the dots, we'll make sure Kirk and any of these cats you want from out in Hollywood to come in, do some, call-ins, whatever, you let me know.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Y'all stay tuned in. We're Hot 91, the soul of VA.